So, last time, 428 Shibuya Scramble. Man, crazy stuff happened. Crazy stuff happened. We got to 1400, which is the halfway point of the time in the game. It goes till 18. So the big thing is that Tama was actually Maria, the kidnapped twin that we've been trying to all this time trying to find. And it turns out that she's had amnesia and got herself stuck in the mascot costume for half a day. So yeah, how she got there we haven't figured out yet, and what the goal of the kidnappers is, if they don't even have her in the first place, is unclear. But we're going to start 1400, and we'll see if we can finish this hour today. But I don't even know where to start with this. I really want to start with Tama because with Maria, because like that's crazy. But yeah, you know what? Let's just hop right in. But yeah, to get people caught up if they haven't been watching, the Nick Sephiroth. 37 months? Oh my god, that's over 3 years! That's a long time, dude! Thank you so much. Goodness gracious. I really appreciate it. But yeah, okay, so this game started off with handing money over for a hostage that went sideways, involving the hostages, our kidnapped girl's twin sister, who was going to do the handoff, and they tried to kidnap the twin sister, who ended up with running away with this other guy, Achi, and they've been running this whole time. The father is the head of a pharmaceutical thing that's developing some sort of virus that could create a global pandemic, and so we're not really sure what his actual, like, what that part of things has to do with it. There seems to be a whole load of industrial espionage going on there, and blackmailing. Man, there's a reporter who's just been weaving in and out of all this. There's the police detective who is, in charge of trying to get the handoff to happen, and now he's been chasing all these criminals. But here we have Maria, the kidnapped sister, who woke up this morning in a warehouse with amnesia and finally got the giant mascot costume off after so many hours. How are you? I'm doing all right today. I've been doing physical therapy, so like I'm kind of tired, but it's been helping me get more flexible. So it's nice. I really desperately needed to start physical therapy. Excuse me. The sales clerk continues to stare at me. You look really familiar, he says. Huh? Really? I perk up at that. This game is a wild ride. It's like one of those Spike Chunsoft things. It's a visual novel, obviously, but it's a lot less interactive than, let's say, a Danganronpa would be. But the story is absolutely amazing, and it does like have you jumping around and like feeling how interconnected the stories are. Maybe I can find out something about who I am. This guy. Also, the fact that it's all live action, like photos and stuff, it's so good. It's so funny. Yeah, you totally look like some pop singer or TV personality. I just can't remember who. Oh, that's what you meant. My shoulders slump in disappointment. Look, if you're trying to flatter me, how about a discount on the necklace? Sure, okay. I mean, it's just something I picked up off the side of the road. The sales clerk stammers for a moment. Okay, how about take off 10,000, 30,000, it's yours. You mean it? That perks me right back up. I guess I'm easy to please. Get your mind out of the gutter. That's not what she means, and you know it. I didn't even go there, game. Sure, you look like you might need to buy some new clothes too. He points to my sweater. Oh, it's ripped. There's a tiny tear in the left shoulder. So, what do you want to do about the cat? Sales clerk adds. Want me to dispose of it for you? He gestures at my costume with his jaw. Oh right, what should I do? I feel a little guilty about asking him to go out of his way for me more than he already has. Maybe I should deal with it myself, or he obviously wants to help me. Yeah, let's let him help me. He obviously wants to help me. May as well have him get rid of the costume too. Sure, if you don't mind, I say. I pay him the 30,000 yen, take the necklace, and leave the knick-knack shop. I love, like, we're the only character here that's blissfully unaware of the whole kidnapping thing, but we're the center of it. A few minutes later, near the station, I spot a sort of mall. Checking the directory by the entrance, I see it's got several clothing shops and an arcade inside. Sega. They probably sell shirts in here. I hurry on inside. The interior of the building is like a twisting maze of corridors, all of them overflowing with people. I take the escalator to the second floor and find myself amidst rows of arcade games. I was trying to get to the fashion area, but must have gone the wrong way. Excuse me. Oh, is this the head of 4-star General Gossip? You haven't seen the lost little... Yes, it is. Okay. You haven't seen the lost little girl, have you? I turn to see a miserable-looking, middle-aged man peering at me anxiously. Yeah, Teru Toyama. He got separated from his daughter Hana while running from debt collectors. He's on edge, worrying that the men who are after him might take Hana hostage. Have you seen her? A little girl about 10 years old? A girl about 10? Have I seen her? What's her name? Hana Toyama. Hana? Oh, that's a pretty name. So, she's about 10, yay tall. The man launches into a rapid-fire explanation describing the girl's features, hair, and clothes. I got separated from her around Center Guy. She likes this place, so I thought maybe she'd come here. Center Guy? That's right, now I remember. This is the guy I bumped into earlier in the afternoon while I was racing around in the cat costume. He got separated from his daughter? Yikes, if she did come here, it's not going to be easy to find her in the midst of these crowds. Are you sure she didn't go back home? I ask. Well, there's this problem, he mutters. Going home isn't an option. Well, that's not really an explanation. Fury, guess what? You are indeed an awesome person. I know that there have been tough times lately, but the important thing to remember throughout it all is that you are in fact, have been and will be, an amazing, amazing person. So thank you for being you. Sorry to bother you, I'll look around a bit more. Ooh. With that, Hana's father disappeared into the crowd. I leave the arcade and head for the fashion area. Oh, and there's Yanagashita. I bump into Mr. Yanagashita in the hallway lined with photo booths. Huh? Boss? What's he doing in a place like this? Oh, Tama! You're out of the suit! For some reason, he's got a bunch of magazines strewn across the floor. Of course we just bump right back into him. I'm glad he's got his pants back. Yeah, finally managed to get it off. That's good. I wish you could have been at the sales demo without your face hidden away. What are you doing? You mentioned something about a creek earlier. Are you going on a trip? He said he's up a creek. You naive child. Yeah, I was, then I remembered something important. I get motion sickness, something fierce. He sounds kind of proud of himself. Hey, Pupcake. Guess what? You are in fact also an amazing person. It's a very badly kept secret that you are in fact fantastic. Thank you also for being you, and stay awesome. Sounds kind of proud. Yeah, so no trips for me. Heck, I don't even want to think about that now. What about the money you owe? I asked, curious. Is he gathering up? Okay, so for those who weren't here before, the magazine he has is the 4-star General Gossip that another one of our point of view characters, Minorikawa, works for. And Toyama, who we just bumped into before, is the editor of. But there was a problem with the magazine that it had this like scratch off like lottery type of thing, except I think they accidentally made every single one a winner. So I wonder if he's gathering them all up and taking out the cards to try to cash in on the money for that. What about the money you owe? Well, as it happens, I think I may have found my solution. Yep, that's exactly. He brings his hand to his mouth and giggles. Yep, there it is. There it is. Right here, I found a great way to make a killing. To earn a lot of money, usually in a very short time and or with little effort. The phrase originated in the 19th century in reference to hunters who were paid based on the number of kills they made. Interesting. He opens the magazine he's holding to reveal a scratch card with a potential 100,000 yen prize. You just gotta scratch off one of these to win 100,000 yen. All I need is 30 of them and then my debt's squared away. Each magazine I can nab is more money for me. Despite his enthusiasm, his story doesn't quite add up. Look at his face. Are those scratch cards guaranteed to win? No, of course not. It's a lottery sort of thing. Well, then having 30 copies of the magazine is hardly a foolproof solution. Quite the opposite, in fact, but I hold my tongue. Okay then, now that my goddess of fortune Tom is here, let me hurry and scratch these suckers off! Yeah, he doesn't know that they're all winners. Yanagashita begins fervently scratching away at the first card with the coin. So they essentially just accidentally printed, every... No? That one's a loser. Maybe the next one. Nope, that's a loser. Damn it. So this one is spectacular display scratched off one losing card after another. That's weird. It was supposed to all be winners, wasn't it? Soon he's drawn to just one last magazine. Maybe it's the new one? You're not a very lucky person, are you? How do you lose on the ones that were accidentally printed to be winners? Please don't say that. Mr. Yanagashita looks like he's on the verge of tears. I stare at one of the losing scratch cards. You know, if you could just see the symbols through the card, you'd win for sure, I say jokingly. I hold the card up to the light. Oh, that's what it was. When I do, I really can see the symbols through the card. Boss, I think I might have just... Shh! He interrupts me before I can share my shocking discovery. That's what it was. You can hold it up to the light. I look at him in surprise. Mr. Yanagashita has gone all pale. Quiet, Tama. Those guys are here. He shoves me into a photo booth. Those guys? The debt collectors, he hisses. They just do not give up. He clutches the sides of his head. Peeking out of the booth, I spot a pair of men who look pretty rough around the edges. Is it those two? Shh, not so loud! I love the pictures in this game so much. Men are looking around and they're getting closer and closer. What do I do? Oh, what do I do? Mr. Yanagashita starts getting panicky. Tama, what do I do? I have no idea. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Mr. Yanagashita whimpers. Getting involved with those thugs strikes me as a bad guy. Pretend not to know Yanagashita and run off. This guy gave me a job. I kind of owe him. Yeah, let's stick around. I'll look around for a better place for the two of us to hide. Definitely have to have, he helped us out today. I was going to use a Hebrew phrase, Hakar Satov, which I'm trying to... Recognition of the good. I don't know if there's a good, what the English for that is, but yeah, being grateful. Unfortunately, I don't really see anywhere that might work. We might be safest staying right where we are. Just stay nice and still and we'll be fine, I whisper. Yeah, you're probably right. The curtain is drawn so people can't see inside, so just to keep appearance, we start taking photos as if we're normal customers. I really hope they don't look in here, Mr. Yanagashita murderers. What do we do if they find us? They won't, don't worry. Also, I beat up a mixed martial arts champion, so, I could take him. Despite my reassurances, it was a while before he stopped trembling. Then he said, you know, Tama, they say that when a man and a woman meet under unusual circumstances, it's easy for them to fall in love. Uh-huh, do they now? They do. Going through an extreme situation together makes you fall for each other. So, wanna get married? No way. Yeah, I'm not having this conversation. Oh, poor guy. Anyway, I think they're gone now, the debt collectors, I mean. Mr. Yanagashita peeks out and quickly scans the surrounding area. They're gone? They're gone! So long, losers! His fear has given way to a burst of manic energy. Guess I'm in the clear now. Thanks, Tama. Come on, let's take some commemorative photos. Huh? To commemorate what exactly? Come on, it'll be fun. Okay. Big smile now. Ready? Cheese! Butter! Margarine! Afro life. Amazing. After that, I part ways with Mr. Yanagashita and head to a different floor. I don't tell him about being able to see through the scratch cards. The guy really ought to develop a proper work ethic. Yikes! Savage, savage. Hey, come on, wait up! I'm on the escalator to the third floor when I hear someone shouting. I figured someone yelling to our kid, but when I turn to look, I see a young man I don't recognize staring right at me. Where are you going? It's not safe for us to get too separated. What? Who's that weirdo? Oh, it's Achi, isn't it? Is this some new pickup trick or something? I rush up the escalator to get away from the guy. When I get to the restaurant section on the fourth floor, I'm hit with a sudden pang of hunger. Hi, Sonic. Come to think of it, I haven't eaten a thing all day. I'm so hungry, I mutter to myself as I walk around. What should I eat? When I spot Chiri coming out of a Chinese restaurant. Of course Chiri's here. Hey, Chiri! She turns to look at me confused. Who are you? Oh, it's me, it's Tama. Ah, I thought I recognized that voice, she replies with a nod. Did you eat again? I ask. Well, yeah, but then they kicked me out. Isn't that just terrible? She looks pretty displeased. I came here because they said it was all you can eat, but then they closed up shop because they ran out of food. How do you do this? If you weren't here in the last stream, Chiri ate, or drank, I should say, 6 large water jugs, 7 large water jugs full of, like those ones they have at like the water coolers, full of orange juice as a magic trick. She's a scary person. Oh wow, you're right. I spot one of the restaurant staff hanging a closed sign on the front door. I love this game. Man, now my early afternoon snack is ruined. An afternoon snack? And all-you-can-eat buffet? I can't help but stare at Chiri's midsection, amazed at what the stomach is capable of. By the way, have you seen the boss? She asks. I thought he'd finally accept that he needs to buckle down and work, but he's got some new crazy scheme. Guess the guy's never gonna learn. I figure no good's gonna come from associating with him. I'd be careful if I were you too. Huh. Done with her little rant, Chiri says goodbye and heads off among the restaurants. Scary. Hitomi? Who said that? Were they talking to me? I turn to see a businessman of some sort staring my direction. Like everyone I've run into today, I don't recognize him. Oh, is that, That's Osawa's second-in-command guy that we think that he's the one that's been bugged and passing on information. For some reason, though, I feel relaxed in his presence. Tanaka? Something like that? Is that you, Hitomi? Hitomi? Could that be my name? Or are you Maria? No, As I fumble for words, the man peers at me with obvious concern. What are you doing in a place like this? We need to get you back home. Your parents are worried sick. My parents? Did someone file a missing person report while I've been wandering around with amnesia? And the man leads the way and I follow. I am concerned. I don't trust this guy. We leave the Jijo building, but head down a narrow alleyway. Then the man suddenly stops. I feel a jolt of anxiety as I notice something gleaming in his hand. It doesn't matter which of the two you are. You're both in the way. Uh-oh! He mutters almost as if talking to himself. Right after that, everything goes dark. Again? That's not nice! No! Bad ending. Where was the bad part to that? Mysterious man. After meeting a man who seemed to know her on the restaurant level, our heroine stepped out to get more of her past. Ultimately, she wound up getting attacked in an alleyway. Ultimately, this all came to pass because she was avoiding the young man who mistook her for Hitomi. If he hadn't come shouting after her, she would have gone on to buy some clothes as she had originally intended. Interesting. Where did we make the mistake then? Was it in not taking the outfit with us? One sec. No. Yeah. Let's try that. Want me to handle it? Let's try changing that. Alright, what should I do? Yeah, let's not have him get rid of our outfit, and let's see where that takes us. Maybe I should deal with it myself. He looks a bit disappointed when I tell him that. Burrito. That's as good a message to highlight as any. I buy the necklace for 30,000 yen and leave the knick-knack shop hauling the costume with me. Look at that. But as I walk along, I start regretting my decision. I can't find a good place to throw the cat outfit away. Finally, I spot a convenience store that looks like it'll do just fine. One of the employees is out front cleaning out the trash can. Several large garbage bags line the side of the road. Perfect! Maybe I can have him toss out the costume along with everything else. Excuse me, so I've got this old catsuit here. Figure it can't hurt to ask. Yeah, I know. The shop boy takes the costume for me. Taku Okado, 22-year-old, getting by on part-time employment. Recently, after a number of employees quit in rapid succession, the owner hurriedly took on several new hires. But for some reason, instead of everyone chipping in on cleaning, Okado always winds up stuck doing it. Poor guy. You're here to throw this thing out. I got it. He sounds wholly impressed, unsurprised. He accepts it so blithely that I actually feel bad. It's been like this all morning, he says. Don't even care anymore. Just throw away what you need and be on your way, I guess. It's been like what all morning? I'm out here cleaning and people keep dumping trash on me. First there was this couple that up and threw garbage bag at me. That was Achi and Hitomi, yeah. The two have just run into a girl called Kanan. Yeah, Kanan apparently has just been killing all sorts of people. After that, some homeless looking guy came by, took all his clothes off and left. That was Sasayama. At the moment, Sasayama is searching for a costume for his next disguise. Like just now, some chubby girl tossed out some empty cardboard boxes and a bunch of empty bottles. That's gotta be Cheery. Yeah, that must have been Cheery. She's probably drank the burning hammer while she walked along. So when you came by just now with this thing, I knew right away. Yep, this again. I'm sorry. It's alright, 3 times, 4 times, what's the difference? Flashes a bright smile, but it's clearly insincere. Then he looks at me more closely. Huh. Aren't you the girlfriend of that dude who threw the bag of garbage at me? What? No, not me. Yeah, I guess I'm misremembering then. Well, anyway, thanks for your help with this. I give the guy a bow. Thanks for your help with this. I give him a bow, okay. A few minutes later, I spot a sort of mall. Checking the direction of the entrance, I see it's several clothing shops and arcade. Let's see if we still get the same scenes as before. Okay, so... yeah, trying to get the fashion area, got in the wrong way. We're gonna run into you again. I don't know, how do I skip any of this? No. Not pause. There we go. Okay. Seen her. What's her name? Yes, this is Hana. That's a pretty name. Forgot if there's any button that actually lets me skip any of this. Okay, so I wonder if that will change anything in terms of like where the costume is. If having the store owner dispose of it versus having the other guy, yeah, the knick-knack shop owner versus the convenience store guy dispose of it, if that means anything. And we bump into Mr. Yanagashita again. Maybe the difference is trying to find a different hiding spot with him? Because maybe we don't run into Achi then? Blah, 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 blah. Right here, a great way to make a killing. One sec, can we, yeah, we still got the bad ending there, so let's go to this choice here. Isn't that good? So yeah, I pretend not to know Yanagashita and run off. Osawa! Wait up, please! I can still hear him calling pathetically as I scurry away. I didn't get to mention the transparent scratch cards, but that might just be for the best. This guy really ought to develop a proper work ethic. Okay, so we just skipped that entire scene of the photo booth, but... Hey, come on, wait up! I'm on the escalator to the 3rd floor when I hear someone shouting. I figured someone yelling to the kid. I turn around, it's a young man I don't recognize. Okay, so it's still the same thing. No, didn't mean to do that. Rush up the escalator. Okay, so I think we're still gonna get to the bad end here. So I don't think there's a choice a different choice that we can make here, which means it might be from someone else's side of things. Maybe I need to stop Achi from going over there. No, okay, so we left Minorikawa with his computer dying, which is horrible. We left Osawa with the realization that his assistant seems to be a bad guy. Kano we left with all the dead people in that club, and the last guy saying that Kanan killed them all, and we left Achi and Hitomi meeting Kanan, and apparently she knew him? She knew her? But let's check in on Osawa and see Tanaka's listening device over here. I do not want others intruding into my domain. Accordingly, I do not intrude on others. That is how I've lived my life. That's how I've forged my sense of calm. But something has begun to drive me mad. The boundaries between myself and others have started to collapse. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I will become something other than myself. What the heck is going on? And that is one thing I fear I could never bear. No, you don't! Kajiwara tackled Tanaka as he strode towards the door. The two men collapsed in a heap in the front entryway. Hey! Tanaka barked. What are you doing? Hold still! Kajiwara ran his bug tracker over Tanaka's body. It began beeping loudly. Aha! Kajiwara pulled off Tanaka's necktie clip. It's a listening device. Tanaka's face went pale. Where did you get this? Where did you get this? Kajiwara demanded. Well... Tanaka trailed off into silence. I gave it to him. You, the wife? It was I who had appeared on the 2nd floor landing. You were listening in? Osawa asked brokenly. Ma'am, Kajiwara said, would you mind explaining this? For once he seemed deadly serious. I was barely able to hear a thing. That's what I get for going with something so cheap. I held out a dangling earpiece. When and where did you get that? Earlier today, when I left to do some shopping. And why did you plant a listening device on Mr. Tanaka? Kajiwara asked. That's what I want to know, Tanaka chimed in. Why would you do this, Mrs. Osawa? He was trembling. You were outside emailing someone earlier. Weren't you, Mr. Tanaka? I saw you from the window. Emailing? Kajiwara looked up into Tanaka's face. I nodded. He came back into the house shortly afterward, and I asked him where he'd gone. And what do you think he said, huh? She was practically gloating, playing to her little audience. She began stalking down the stairs. He said he'd gone to check on something at the lab, despite the fact that he was out in the yard there fiddling with his phone the whole time. So I figured if I bugged him, he might show his true colors and... Enough! Osawa cut his wife off. Tanaka had been emailing Hitomi, of course, but he couldn't reveal that now. I think I get what happened here, Kajiwara interposed. He folded his arms. Your wife thought that Mr. Tanaka was in contact with the kidnappers, and so she planted a listening device on him. The detective peered at Tanaka. Who were you emailing, sir? Yeah, that's right, I chirped. Show us your phone, Mr. Tanaka. Let's see what you're really up to. Or is there some reason you don't want to show us? Osawa started to panic. If the police checked the cell phone, they'd find the emails from Hitome. If the kidnappers somehow found out about that, Maria's life would be in danger. But I was still relentlessly advancing on Tanaka. Stop this. Darling? She turned to him in surprise. Tanaka was sending emails on my behalf, Osawa said. I asked him to do it. And just who was he emailing? It was... He needed to think of a lie fast. It was me. That's not gonna work. It was Pretty Honey. It was someone from work. I want to see what happens if I say it was Pretty Honey. It was Pretty Honey. The room went silent. Pretty... Wait, what did you say? Oh, wait, what did you say? Kajiura asked after a long, awkward moment. Honey, Osawa replied meekly. My apologies. I didn't quite catch that. One more time? Pretty Honey. Osawa's voice was scarcely audible. Pretty Honey? I asked, sounding ashamed on his behalf. Who's that? Osawa felt his cheeks burning. Of all the names he might have chose, why did he pick that one? Who is it, sir? Kajiura demanded. He regarded Osawa's face keenly. A personal associate of mine. You wouldn't know them. But why ask Tanaka to send the messages? Kajiura asked. Don't you have a computer in your study? Couldn't you have sent the emails yourself? My computer was having problems sending email. I'm not sure what the issue was. Look, the point is, there's no reason to worry about Tanaka's emails. Now, I assume we're done here? I need Tanaka to run to Marin's for me. Oh, so he wasn't the bad guy? With that, Osawa opened the front door. Tanaka gave him a quick bow and headed out the door. Hey, wait. I started to go after him. Hey, wait. I started to go after him. Just calm down. Osawa barred the way. There's no way he's connected to the kidnappers. Can't you see that? His voice cracked and he shuddered at a sudden rush of emotion. There, sir, Kajiura said consolingly. She's just deeply worried about your daughter. I turned around and marched back upstairs. So she bugged him. But I wonder if that's a red herring and he actually was like super concerned because he was about to be caught. I still don't trust him, but still. If she is that worried, giving a tie clip as a gift seems a bit... Yeah, clothing accessory meant to hold one's necktie in place. In the old days, they were a quintessential part of the salaryman's outfit, along with cufflinks and the company badge. Recently, tie clips have come back into vogue with some older men, but now more frequently referred to as tie bars. Kajiura's muttering trailed off. What do you mean? Osawa asked. Nothing. Not important. The detective waved a hand dismissively, but there had been a definite note of suspicion in his voice. Yeah, like what? It's so weird being like, hey man, I have a, suspicion that that you're emailing somebody that I don't know. Here's a tie clip as a gift. It is suspicious. Well, back to work. Kajiura headed back into the living room. Very, very suspicious. Osawa returned to his study and sat in front of his computer. He had no desire to be in the presence of detectives who now crowded his living room. The Aya Kamiki fan forum for people 40 and over was still open on his monitor. He reloaded the page and saw his earlier thread had gotten a reply. It was from Pretty Honey, a regular contributor to Osawa's threads. Username of someone who posts regularly on the Aya Kamiki fan forum seems to know a lot about agriculture and the police, as evidenced by statements as if the world were a farm with 100 people. If the world were a farm with 100 people, as well as the tendency to post to another site called the 87th Precinct Telecommunity. Incidentally, Shinya Kano's girlfriend Rumi also posts to the 87th Precinct Telecommunity from time to time. She has had several massive arguments with Pretty Honey there, with the latter criticizing the police for not doing their job, while Rumi insists that police work is very difficult and deserves more credit. Is this a jump point to Kano's story? That's weird. Okay, we'll remember this. We didn't start Kano's thing yet, so we can't jump there, but that's weird. that they have a connection through the Aya Kamiki fan forum. I'm opposed to the idea of Aya Kamiki expanding into America, angry. She should be able to enjoy success she's earned in Japan without having to struggle overseas. Aya has done so much for us. I'd like her to keep supporting Japan forever. That emoji. The message was festooned with the sort of emoticons that a young girl might use. Pretty Honey claimed to be a 19-year-old female college student. Is it Rumi? Is it just Rumi? Although the community is meant for Aya Kamiki fans 40 and over, the setting allowed anyone to post there. The only young woman among the members, however, was Pretty Honey. The thread continued. By the way, have you tried the Eye of Fortune Teller yet? There's a link below. Woo. Fortune telling, huh? The practice of determining a person's future luck or life events using cards or horoscopes and or other methods of divination. Most people believe such prognostication when it foretells something good, and don't believe it when the outlook is bad. That's about as much faith in fortune telling as someone should have. Man, we haven't had one of these, like, play things in a long time. Slightly lucky. That's pretty funny. Osawa stared. Should he ask whether Maria was safe? If he gave him a good answer, he'd believe it. If it were a bad answer, he wouldn't. It might be worth a shot, just for the peace of mind it'd bring. He clicked the link and the Aya Fortune Teller page came up. It asked you to enter your birth date and sex, and then Aya Kamiki would offer her advice. Osawa followed the instructions upon entering the date of birth, selecting male, and then clicking next. A few seconds later, his fortune was displayed. You're a very work-minded person. He hoped for some insight in Maria, but instead it was just a write-up about his personality. You'd never be able to get by without devoted support of those around you, but you probably don't realize that, do you? It's a big mistake to think you can get through all life's challenges on your own. There's nothing cool about being ignorant. If you don't get over your indifference to the world might start to harbor quite a grudge. Find a way to connect more deeply with the people around you and start living a better life before it's too late. Just do that and you're sure to have a wonderful future ahead. Famous people got your result? Shinosuke Ori, playwright, the head of the Wandering Angels Theater Troupe. Oh man, he has an interview appointment with Minoru Arakawa at 2:30 this afternoon. It's interesting. Osawa couldn't help but feel that the advice was painfully appropriate. He went back to the form and replied to Pretty Honey. Nice to hear from you again, Pretty Honey. I definitely know how you feel about Aya Kamiki being ours. Still, I'm confident she's got what it takes to persevere and succeed in America. And if she does fail, well, all of us in Japan will be here to welcome her back all the same. Guess this voyage to America I've concocted just has me a little worked up. Ugh. Osawa clicked post and leaned back in his chair. Mr. Osawa! Mr. Osawa! It was Kajiwara shouting from outside the door. First the toilet, then lunch. What is it now? There you are again. There's been a development in the case. Please join us in the living room. We have important matters to discuss. Kajiwara had his detective face on. When Osawa entered the living room, I was already there looking stern and solemn. Now that you're both here, Kajiwara said, allow me to share what we know. We've identified a location that appears to be the syndicate's hideout. You have? What about Maria? Is she there? Osawa exclaimed. We still haven't been able to ascertain whether your daughter is safe. Well, then what were those important matters you needed to discuss? Osawa felt a wave of anxiety rush through him. The hideout in question is a condominium in Hiro. And it's owned by... By whom? Mr. Osawa, please calm down. Tell me! Go on, out with it! Kajiwara took a deep breath. The residence is owned by Mamoru Tanaka. Osawa was speechless. Our buddy. He couldn't process what he was hearing. Tanaka? Lies! I shrieked. Just what are you implying? That Mr. Tanaka's the kidnapper? Where's your proof? With all due respect, ma'am, weren't you suspicious of Mr. Tanaka yourself? Well, I suppose, but You did go so far as to stick a listening device on him. Flustered, I withdrew into vacant silence. The sudden ringing of the phone startled everyone in the room. Was that Tanaka? No, it couldn't be. There was no way. The phone was wiretapped. The detective wearing the headset nodded to Kajiwara, who in turn motioned for Osawa to pick it up. Hello? He said cautiously. Ah, hello. Is this the home of Maria Osawa? The voice was not Tanaka's. Osawa didn't recognize it, but the veil of despair that hung before him thinned slightly. Is this the home of Hitomi Osawa? This time the man on the phone used Hitomi's name instead. Yes, that's right. The caller immediately hung up. As Osawa stood there dumbstruck, Kajiwara gently took the receiver and hung up the phone. One of the detectives addressed Kajiwara. We've traced the source of the call to his cell phone. Also, we pinpointed the base station used. Inform Director Kuze so he can prepare a team just in case. Just in case? Osawa asked. What do you mean by that? Kajiwara frowned slightly. Just because this is a kidnapping case doesn't mean that every cell phone call comes from the kidnapper. We'll look into it, of course, but... I see. Besides, right now, confirming Mr. Tanaka's whereabouts takes priority. Don't you agree? Osawa nodded. Oh boy, someone should call him, the detective added. I'll do it. I got our cell phone and dialed up Tanaka. Where was Mr. Tanaka headed? Kajiwara asked. He eyed Osawa keenly. To work, I sent him to pick up some documents. A necessary lie. If Tanaka was behind the kidnapping, Osawa knew he ought to tell the police about the blue minivan and the emails from Hitomi, but still he just couldn't believe that his assistant really was the culprit. We have investigators en route to Tanaka's condominium, Kajiwara said. Let's wait for them to report in. On the far side of the room, I was squawking in frustration. Despite several attempts, she hadn't been able to get through to Tanaka. I mean, you planted a bug on the guy, so... Kajiwara's phone rang and he pulled it from his pocket. Kano? What's going on? Oh, what's going on? He headed into one corner as he spoke into the receiver. I suppose that'd be alright. What for, though? After a few more quiet words, Kajiwara held his phone out to Osawa. One of the investigators on the scene would like to speak with you. Frowning in confusion, Osawa took hold of the phone. What is going on here? Osawa speaking. Can I help you? This is Detective Kano from the Shibuya precinct. Time is critical, so I just need to cut to the chase here. There was a pause as the speaker took a deep breath before continuing. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi? What? Osawa was so startled that his voice caught in his throat. What are you talking about? The antiviral research was top secret, so how did some detective from Shibuya precinct know about it? Okay, I can't jump to this either, right? No, because we haven't done Kano's route. Osawa was bewildered. I'm the one asking questions here, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi? I'm not sure I understand the question. I know what this syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. Osawa's mind went blank when he heard what Kano said next. He could give no reply. Mr. Osawa? The detective continued after a moment. Is everything alright? Without really thinking, Osawa hung up. They were after the virus? Did he mean the UA virus kept at the lab? Wait, hold on. The detectives had to be wrong about that. The kidnappers must have the UA virus already. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had to do what I did to Hitomi. Do not look away. These are your crimes. Alas, Osawa understood what those emails from A were all about. They were a preview of the tragedy that was yet to unfold. The kidnappers probably meant to start the main event soon. Might already be too late to stop them. Oh boy. Oh, they're gonna release the virus. Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara asked, are you alright? Crimes? But I didn't do anything! We've all done crimes, Fury. All of us. The detective gazed with concern to Osawa's ashen face. Sometimes it's just food crimes, though. Bracing himself, Osawa spoke up, his voice hoarse and dry. A killer virus is about to be unleashed in Tokyo, and I know who's responsible. It's me. Sudden confession caused the detectives on site to start like a hornet's nest. Please arrest me. Feeling the weight of his crimes crushing down on him, Osawa dropped his gaze to the floor. Is that my crime? I eat bacon? Yes, I've decided that that is your crime theory. I'm sorry. He held out both his wrists. I'll tell you everything down at the station, he said. Anything you need to know. Oh boy. Oh god. Osawa imagined bodies dropping left and right. There were limits to what might be cured by a small stockpile of antiviral his lab currently contained. If they were unable to quarantine the infected in time, then Shibuya, no, all of Japan might be engulfed in a pandemic that the drug could never stop. Pandemic, a massive outbreak of particular infection of a regional or global scale. In 14th century Europe, a massive cholera outbreak is said to have killed 2/3 of the population, and the Spanish flu outbreak in the early 20th century killed at least 25 million people worldwide. Given modern advances in transportation, some researchers are of the opinion that the global risk of a pandemic is higher than ever before. You can see that this game was made before 2019. He can only hope that his complying with the authorities might help stop the spread of the infection before it was too late. That's a bad ending. What? The thought of the Ua virus devastating Japan filled Osawa with despair. Blaming himself, he asked to be arrested. But this only happened because of what Kano said to him. A simple error in word choice led Osawa to a completely wrong conclusion. Kano ought to properly inform Osawa just what the kidnappers were after. Okay, so we have to fix that on Kano's route.